Hi friends, it's Jean, and I thought I'd do a little chatty flip through of my Week in the Life album from this year, 2024. So I used this beautiful graphic black and white Days of the Week 6x8 album for my project. I love doing 6x8 for Week in the Life, and I've done it for, I think, since 2016. So I have a good feel of how I work in this size album. On the inside cover, I mostly use for my project the main kit from this year's collection, the mini kit from this year's collection, which was about you, me, and us. And then I got the add-on pleather circles and the transparencies. And then I used things from my stash to augment those kits. So this us was from the mini kit. The Our Week, I believe, was also from that. And then this Week in the Life, I cut from some of the packaging, one of the little packaging labels, and then I added a heart there. And so this was in the main kit, the stories of this week. And like Allie, I just put this at the front and then added my reason why on the back here. And let me read that to you. This is my 10th year participating in Week in the Life. Things have changed a lot since then. This year, for the first time, we have no girls living at home. We don't have dogs either. It is just Doug and me living our life. It's not going to be a normal week because we are in the midst of our kitchen and first floor renovation, and we'll be spending part of the week in Bethany as they redo some of the electrical work. I love this project and seeing how life changes and evolves and the many ways it stays the same. Here's to documenting another week in our one beautiful life. So I love that. I actually wrote that after the fact, but I like how it just kind of encapsulates why I do this project. And like when I first started, my oldest daughter, Catherine, is now 25. Anna is 23. They were 15 and 13 when I started this project, and our life was really different then. So it's really fun to see the evolution. So I used this circle page for my title page. I think I was inspired by Morgan Beale to do that. And then added some vellum and transparency on the back, a photo of each of us at around that time, the Week in the Life chipboard from the main kit, and then these two circles, 24 and These Moments Matter Most, were also from the chipboard in the main kit. And I love how that looks. And then on the back, I just added a picture of our azaleas in bloom. They usually bloom around Week in the Life, so I often include this picture in my album. And then our story, which was from the mini kit. And then I have a formula I followed. I cut down the 10x8 transparencies for each day of the week to 6x8 for each of the days. And then I cut down a little bit extra of the transparency to a 3x4 and put that in a 3x4 pocket on each of my days. And so you'll see as I flip through Monday that I follow the same formula for each day. So I added the vellum pockets with the cards in it on top of the transparency. And then on top of that, I used the pleather circles that were an add-on, and for each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. And then I coordinated the colors the best I could to each day, which I don't always do. I often intermix the colors, but this year I tried to follow the color scheme. So on each of these cards that I slipped in the vellum pocket, I stamped something that was sort of a highlight of that particular day. So for Monday, I stamped Beach House Day, and I used white ink, and I love how that looks on this red. And then I just added some puffy stickers from my stash to add a little extra to these cards, and I stamped the day of the week on the tab with an older Week in the Life stamp set that I have in my stash. So then you flip to the back of that transparency, and on the back of each one, I added the large plastic words from the main kit that said each day of the week. And I love how that worked out. And then I flow into these little, I think it was like 4x5 sort of file folder cards for each day. And I added a little tab sticker at the top with either a word phrase or something. And then I added some little embellishment on each one. And a lot of these are embellishments that were in my stash from past Week in the Life and Day in the Life kits. I remember this was from a past kit, and then I stamped But First Coffee on top. And then on the back of this one, I wrote my journaling for the day, and I did a little stamping at the top and the date. Now, I thought I was going to do this for my journaling on each day, And in the end, it just felt like too much hand journaling for me. And I was writing throughout the days. So this is the only day I have the journaling on the back. And you'll see how I approach that as the other days unfold. And then I started each day with a large 6x8 photo in a page protector and the day of the week chipboard banner that was in the main kit. This was a beautiful picture of a day at the beach. We were at our beach house at the beginning of the week, and I added a picture of my husband to the back in our beach house in the morning. Then I added the big U from the mini kit and the story from the chipboard pack. And then I go into a 4-up 3x4 page protector, and I added in each one this transparency that I cut down from the 10x8. And then I went through and found a bunch of chipboard banners from my stash, and I have my chipboard design organized by shape, so these were really easy to find. And I put them all aside, and I used these banners throughout on the front and the back of this transparency. And I really liked how that worked. I had gotten the plastic banners, and there were a lot of banners in this kit, so those worked well with it. And then I just have 2 photos, and then on each day, I had the day of the week 3x4 journaling card, and I kind of just did like a snapshot of the day there. And then I used a bunch of word phrase stickers from my stash to match the colors. So like Monday was red and pink. On the back, I added more photos, this chipboard, and then these frames. I think there were some, the back of these had color on the back, so I just added a small photo here and another one of the chipboard circles. And then for each day, I used these 3x8 morning, afternoon, evening cards and punched holes right in them and put them in my album, and added a 2x2 photo that related to morning and afternoon and evening for each day, and then used word phrase stickers again from my stash. And when I have all these inserts like this, I really like to add tab stickers to the side. These are some of my favorite products. I use them a lot. And so I just used a bunch from my stash. I think this was from one of the Stories by the Month kits this spring. And then on the back, I added a 3x8 picture of myself from a mirror selfie. And I have one of those each day of the week, which I think is really fun to sort of see what I was wearing and what I was doing. And then I cut down a 2x2 page protector. I cut the last column off, so I have 8 2x2s. And I used the 2x2 cards from the You and Me mini kit to talk about what I was doing, what my husband was doing, and then us included both of us and my girls, where they sent me photos. And then I also used some of these plastic banners that were an add-on with the day of the week and the number for the day for each day. And so on this one, I added, like, I was playing my New York Times games, my coffee, my husband in his office. I used more of the transparencies cut down in here, and then added on little icons that were from the You and Me Us mini kit. There were hearts and plus signs and exclamation points. And then I used a bunch of asterisks and stars from my stash to embellish that as well. Here I've added an ampersand. This was You and Me, and pictures my daughter sent me and other things we were doing. And then after that page, each day I go into a 4-up 4x6 page protector, and each front page has the Monday observations card, and I kind of do a little highlight. This day it was a good day at the beach. Then for the high and the low card, I added the temperature, which I thought was fun, and a picture from something outside that day. And then I just added some little puffy stickers from my stash. And then again, 2 more 4x6 photos. The Monday was, and then I added a word phrase sticker to talk about something about the day, using more asterisks too. So that finishes off my Monday. And then I go into Tuesday and I follow the exact same formula. So on this day, I stamped So Quiet here. I started to try to stamp in the white, and it didn't look as good on this orange. So I did a tone-on-tone stamping, which I really like. And then I have the Tuesday stamp. And on the back, the plastic word. Going into the folder, I added an ampersand from, I think that was from the mini kit too. And then another one of the tab stickers with a word phrase. I stamped a sentiment, today was quiet, and the date. And here's where, since I decided I didn't want to do the journaling, I went back and added pattern paper from my stash. I think these were mostly from a bunch of scrapbook kits. And then I decorated it and somehow, a lot of it using the plastic banners. So on this one day, my husband had won a big proposal and he was so excited. So I took some word phrase stickers and put "We won" with Doug with the quote sign, which I thought was really cool. Then I go into my 6x8 photo using the chipboard banner. I love how I took this photo of my husband at our bar in our kitchen through the archway. I think that looks really neat. And this was when he came downstairs and he said to me, "We won." And he put his hands up and I managed to get the photo. And I love that. It's one of my favorite pictures of him. And this was from the birthday story kit. And I just cut down this banner and said, because it said celebrating, and wrote a little bit about that. And I actually highlighted the edge with a marker. So then I go into the 3x4 page protector again with the transparency and the chipboard banners, my overview journaling for the day, embellishing with word phrase stickers and these little phrase banners that were in the main kit. I love how super tired I was, not feeling great this day. And then adding the photo with some more of these. I cut some of these down to add on the photos. Here's my 3x8 with morning, afternoon, and evening. The tab on the side. This was my 3x8 photo of myself in my mirror that day. The 2x2 page protector. This day I had done some shopping, so I used the dollar sign. I had gotten some new stickers. And then this was in my stash. You had me at free shipping. I think it's from an old Feed Your Craft kit, but I thought that was perfect with what I was doing this day. This was from a catalog. So I added a bit of ephemera. Today's stuff, Tuesday. And then about my husband here in the back and him working. Love you. This was from the chipboard and then what we were working on. And like this day, I did not have photos for my daughter. And then the 4x6 Tuesday observations. I'm really tired and congested. Ugh. The temperature for the day and a photo of our trees outside and 2 more photos from that day. And then leading into Wednesday where I stamped sun on my face, which I thought was really fun. I went for a walk on the beach that day, adding the plastic word. This was, again, from that same mini kit I used on Monday, which was an old week in the life or day in the life kit with the bathtub. And I stamped take a deep breath, which I thought was fun. And then added pattern paper with a banner. And these flowers were, I think, from one of the scrapbook kits that came out this spring. And I ended up using them on a couple of these as well. Good day, April 24th. Picture of my feet with our bath mat and the Wednesday chipboard banner. And then this was a picture. We went down to town and the beach. This fabric word, these were from an old day in the life kit. And I think I used another one of those in my album, but the color matched that day, which was pink. So I liked how that looked. Picture of myself on our walk, my husband, my journaling, couple more photos of us using these little banners from the kit, the beautiful flowers blooming in town, morning, afternoon, and evening again. And here's my 3x8 photo of me in my mirror. I love this bathroom, and my parents' room in our beach house has a beautiful photo that my mom painted, which is really special. I like seeing that in the background. And then for the 2x2, I love how the colors work on this one with the sort of green and pink and blue. And I added some ephemera. This is something I had ordered. And me and you with the vellum icons from the You and Me kit and the plastic banners. My girls had sent me some photos that day, so I had pictures of them. And then my husband and I were cheersing that night because our renovation was almost done. So I added some stickers for Anna, Catherine, Doug, and Jean, documenting us. And then going into the 4x6 photos, Wednesday observations, feeling calm and reflective today, the temperature and a picture of the sunset in the evening, and some more pictures from that day at the beach. And then going into Thursday, we headed home to our house in Arlington. And so I stamped Home Sweet Home on this one. Again, trying to match some tone-on-tone stamping. with the pleather circle and the plastic on the back going into the file folder. This is a fun sticker from a bullet journal I like called Mochi Bujo, and I thought that matched the colors really well. And then I added again some patterned paper and the banners and ampersands from the kit to decorate the back of that. And into the 6x8 photo of our azaleas blooming in our backyard and the Thursday chipboard banner. And then this was our new kitchen from upstairs. So I found this vellum circle that said home, and I thought that was perfect on there. And then added my journaling from the day. Success is a series of small wins. I was feeling so happy in our new kitchen here. By the way, the happiness goes away quickly. And then coming back, we were staying downstairs while they were renovating the main floor. So, and this was our new bathroom on the main floor, which is a really fun picture. Morning, afternoon, evening. We got Thai food that night. A photo of me in the mirror again. I love how these colors all really matched well together too. This was from some mail I got from a friend from a spring photo swap. And that was from something that came in the mail from Harris Teeter. And then the Thursday banner and the icons on that with the me and you journaling. Some pictures from my daughter again. My daughter was working from home, and then my other daughter went to a movie. So again, I just added the journaling there. Here I was making our bed at the beach and getting excited to head home. The temperature outside, our new kitchen, and our backyard. And Thursday was encouraging. Friday, not so much. Ups and downs is what I stamped on Friday. We realized Thursday night that they had done our floors and they had put a glossy finish instead of a matte finish. And I had to meet with the floor guy Friday, and basically the upshot was they were going to have to rebuff and re-stain the floors. And I was really not happy about that. So I put this here and stamped this was rough because that's how I was feeling. Added the decorations on the back of this with the plastic banner and that chipboard flower. This is a picture of my feet with hydrangeas that were so green and the grass so green. I love that about spring. With the Friday chipboard. I love this photo too. This is my husband in the empty house. And there you can see the very shiny floor that was not supposed to be so shiny. But it's a great photo. This was again one of those like felt circles from a past day in the life kit. This one I found so hard I cried, which worked out really well because I actually did cry that day. My Friday journaling, laundry, of course, exercising to try to take my mind off it. We got it together and went to a hockey game that night, so that was nice. I was trying to be positive. Morning, afternoon, and evening. And then my 2x2 pockets again with the journaling about us, the picture of myself, some photos from my daughters. My youngest daughter was in New York City, so they got to spend time together that weekend. The 4x6 photos, joy and then deflation. Friday was dive deep. I love this photo of the fence next to our neighbor's house and our backyard. And then Saturday, making the best of it. I tried to turn myself around as much as I could. So that was what I stamped that day. I love this little newspaper banner from that old kit, decorated here again. This is a picture of, we were unloading all the things for our kitchen cabinets and all the boxes. And I loved how this was the side of the counter and it came down diagonally. So I stamped right here and I thought that was really good. The messy details looking for the good. And then added the chipboard banner. Another one of those felt circles here. And then going into the Saturday 3x4s, my daughters together and my daughter with her friends, which was really fun to see. And my little journaling for the day. And again, I'm still trying to match the word phrase stickers from my stash. Picture of my closet. That's always fun to get. Our plants were outside because they couldn't be inside. And I was doing some crafting morning, afternoon, evening. And there's the picture of me. I think this heart was from the craft story kit. And then here with the blue icons and the banner and the journaling about our day. and some pictures from my girls. My daughter was going to run the marathon, the New York City Brooklyn half marathon the next day, so she got her bib. And my other daughter went out for cocktails for her daughter's birthday. I love the photo of all the boxes, little bits of life. And then 2 more photos, the temperature for the day and a photo of our house out front. This I like because it has the renovation sign in it. And the new kitchen, as we were moving things in, we set up our bar cabinet, which I love that. That was super fun. And then my daughter getting her bib for the New York City Brooklyn half. And then Sunday, Catherine did the half, so my stamping for the day was Run, Catherine, Run, which I thought was fun. This was a pink day. And the plastic word going into this, and I love that big ampersand from the mini kit. Decorated this. I think this background paper was from the Grow Story kit, and the You and Me was from the mini kit. And then this is a picture of my husband. That morning we cooked our first thing in our brand new kitchen. We made eggs. So that was really exciting. I love that photo of him. He looked so happy. And then this is Catherine after she ran her marathon. I also love that. The We Love was from the mini kit. And then some more photos from that day. My daughter came to cheer on Catherine, which was great. I felt like we were bad parents because we didn't go, but we just had so much going on at that point. My journaling card. We also cooked out that night, and so that was fun. Usually I like to take a photo at the end of the day on the Sunday and do a That's a Wrap of Week in the Life, because I love doing Week in the Life, but on Sunday I am so done with taking all the photos and writing all the notes. And then my morning, afternoon, evening, the photo of me in my mirror, our 2x2 photos about me, us, and you. These were a bunch of photos of my daughter running and her friends celebrating. I love having that in here. And then Sunday observations, a fresh start for us. Kitchen is looking good. It was much warmer that day, high 84. And then last 2 photos of my husband mowing and relaxing downstairs. We still didn't have the furniture upstairs. So I really love the snapshot of life. I really like my formula. I like having all these smaller inserts sandwiched in between these 2 and starting with the full page photos. I feel like it really, and then adding these in was a lot of fun. I feel like it really gives a great snapshot of the week and how life is at this point, because even though it was just Doug and I at our beach house and then at home, I love how the girls send me photos and I can add a bunch of different things in here. And actually, because it was the renovation, it was kind of fun to have. It's going to be fun to look back on and see the kitchen and having to deal with the floors and all of that. So anyway, I can't wait to do Week in the Life again next year. I do love it. It's one of my favorite projects. And thanks for spending some time with me going through my album. I hope to share again with you soon. Have a great day.